It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026, and an Arctic blast is currently bringing extreme cold to the southeastern United States. And these weather conditions have caused falling iguanas across much of Florida, while the Carolinas are experiencing 10 to 15 inches of snow. This situation isn't over yet. The jet stream is shifting and could lead to additional snowfall as February begins. We may even encounter another Arctic blast within the next 1 to 2 weeks. However, it's important to note that it is too far out to accurately predict where this may occur. So in today's forecast, I will outline everything that you need to know about this extreme cold and the potential for another Arctic blast. Alright, and I want to go ahead and begin with our precipitation type, as the precipitation type is how we can view all the high pressure systems and low pressure systems and all the precipitation that's obviously over the United States. So starting off right now, we have some snow that could have been lake effect snow, but not too fully sure as of now. But up in the Michigan, Illinois area. So if you're in Michigan or Illinois, just know that you are having some snow up there. Some freezing rain in parts of Montana, I believe, as well as some rain just off of the coast of Washington, with like a high pressure system over parts of Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, a low pressure system over parts of the very, very, very southwest and parts of like California, Arizona, all those areas, as well as another high pressure system keeping things clean over most of the southeast, and just keeping that colder air being able to stay there without precipitation and all that stuff, like without being snowy, which we recently had a pretty decent severe snow event over most of the Carolinas and into parts of Virginia Beach, and those surrounding areas. We got some rain up in parts of Washington, more of the northwest areas, as well as some snow in parts of Montana, Wyoming, some more snow in like Montana areas as we move on later on into the day. As we move on into tomorrow, that rain starts to sort of die down in parts of Washington. The snow sort of end up falling off and not really producing as much snow as we could see. As we move on into the 4th, which will be Wednesday, which is what I want to get into, as we have a potential for another Arctic blast as well as some snow. I just recorded a part and didn't realize my mic wasn't on. So yeah, here we go. So some snow up in parts of Canada moves down into parts of the northeast, which could cause some pretty significant snow showers as well as some freezing rain to parts of like Illinois and Iowa. But the snow showers will continue to stay on the more northeastern threat around areas like Ohio, Indiana, parts of Pennsylvania, even into like New York areas, even into like Maine, all those sort of areas, New Jersey, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, all those areas, Massachusetts, but just could bring some significant snow showers. Just remember that this is 4 days out, so it is decently hard to accurately predict where this is going to occur, because it could shift like any sort of way or any move, but we will not be able to accurately predict when or where it will do that, because things are obviously always changing. That's how it's hard for the weather stations to accurately predict like when a light snowstorm will hit. But this will bring some pretty cold temperatures, so I want to go ahead and take a look at our temperatures. Alright, so now I want to go ahead and take a look at our temperatures. If we go ahead and look at what is happening right now, we have some significant cold over parts of like Florida, parts of southern Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and parts of West Virginia, and even parts of Virginia Beach, as well as parts of Tennessee and Pikeville, Kentucky area, which could bring some pretty significant temperatures as well as the falling iguanas. Some more heat over the farther west you go, with a little bit of cold patches in between them, which could cause some precipitation and some light thunderstorms, just like pop-up storms, I guess you could call it. Some more colder air ranging through much of Minnesota, Wisconsin mainly though, as well as parts of Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, all those sort of areas, as well as some pretty significant temperatures up in Canada, And then as we move on later on into the day, this is what things will be looking like. Temperatures are always like a kind of an off and on thing. So it's cold sometimes, but hot in other times. So it's like hard to like accurately predict how the temperatures will be. This sort of gets pushed off to the east coast as we move on into tomorrow, the 3rd. And then some cold patches in between the hotter temperatures. And this continues to do the same thing as we move on into later on Tuesday, even into Wednesday. Some cold temperatures up in parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, all those areas, with some more warmer temperatures on the west coast, because that's how things tend to go, as well as some colder temperatures, just some cold patches in between the warmer temperatures. Then as we move on into Wednesday, like midday, this would be looking like some colder temperatures over parts of Missouri, areas like that. However, this will not be the Arctic blast, this piece right here. This is just some cold that could just be impacting. Some more heat right here coming down from Canada. We'll get onto the Arctic blast in just a minute, unless things have changed since the last time I looked, which does not seem like it hasn't, or it seems like it has not changed. But yeah, there is some pretty significant cold that could range from parts of the South Texas area all the way up to parts of New York and even into Vermont, as we move on into Thursday, as well as some pretty significant heat over parts of Montana, the Dakotas, into like Nebraska, and into even parts of Oklahoma and Kansas, even as far south as Texas, the northern Texas Panhandle, as well as some pretty significant warmth over parts of Oregon in those areas. And yeah, this is what things will be looking like as we move on into Thursday. But as we move on into Friday, this is when that Arctic blast will sort of start to affect us. As you can see right here, we have this pretty decent amount of cold start to move down south. This is all being pushed off by two pretty significant heat right on both sides of it that are sort of merging together and pushing all this cold down south, which is like they're merging together and forming into one, which is pushing all of this Arctic air down to the south, down to where we are in the United States, unless you're in Canada. This is happening in very far north Canada, but this will begin to move into parts of the UP of Michigan, I guess you could say, as we move on into mid-Friday and into parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. As we move on later on into Friday, this is what things will be looking like. It starts to move down into the south. The further south you go, mainly the northeast, though, will be our main threat, I guess, for this. But we'll still bring some pretty significant cold to much of the southeastern and just regular eastern, I guess, northeastern United States. Our main threats will be Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, and earlier on it'll be parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. But our main threat will be over here around the Toronto, Canada area, if you're close to that, if you know where you are, as well as parts of New York City, parts of northern New Jersey, if you're out there, Pete, parts of northern New Jersey, and then down into parts of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. However, that was all we had to talk about the Arctic blast today. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. I am a trained meteorologist. My name is Cruz Haynes. If you're new here, I'm a trained meteorologist. I go live during severe weather events. I do live coverage. I go live for winter storms, severe storms, tornado outbreaks, hurricane landfalls, anything that I possibly can, as long as I'm not at school. I will try to go live for. I stay home from even like school events just to be able to do things for y'all. And I quit football, so I'm gonna pursue this right here. Just make sure to like and subscribe to make it worth. I don't think you'll understand how much liking and subscribing makes it worth being able to do this. But I will see y'all in the next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like I said, I hope y'all have a great day. Watch the weather, and I will see y'all next time there's something that y'all need to be updated on. Peace.